And joining us over the phone to tell us more about the importance of today is Ambassador Gamal Bayoumy, the former assistant to the foreign minister. Good afternoon to you, sir.
Good afternoon. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you so much for joining us. Sir, can you tell us a bit about the significance of marking this day? It's been 9 years since then.
For me, it is shedding the light again in Egypt. We were coming to a very dark period of the history of this country. And as a diplomat, really, I saw it quite clear that we are losing our main alliance, we are losing our main friends, we are losing our main big Egyptian people who are in very good command of the history of this country.
Yes.
And we started to create wars between some part of Egypt and the other part of Egypt, and we can see things like that in Syria, in Lebanon, in Libya, in Somalia, in Yemen. We don't want to see this in our country, because the best thing about Egyptian, that if you are from Alexandria and I am from Damietta, both of us, we feel that we are after all Egyptians, not any tribe or any faction or any part. So, thank God that we restore our Egyptian unity.
Yes.
We restore our Egyptian diplomacy, where now, we can see clearly in the last few days how our president is receiving head of states from many countries, phoning anywhere to his counterpart in Latin America, in Europe, in the Arab world, in Africa. And now he is also in the Gulf to create an Arab front for the coming conference of the Gulf states. And here we see that Egypt is becoming back again to its diplomacy, the presidential diplomacy also.
Yes.
And now I see that Cairo is hosting many number of diplomats from all the world.
Yes.
And I really are proud of this. You can see embassies like the Saudi Arabia embassy on the River Nile in a building much bigger than the Ministry of Foreign Affairs itself. You can see that we have American diplomats in Cairo as big as the whole diplomatic or Egyptian diplomatic representation all over the world. So I am proud of this, and I see also that we had the courage to start our economic reform in 2016. Now we can face any problem like the corona epidemic or the economic impact of the war in Ukraine or any other thing, because we are standing on solid position after we started a serious economic reform. And we are, of course, ambitious to continue this in order to make every child in our country, every citizen in our country, look to the future, making sure that he will be living better today, better than yesterday, and tomorrow will be better than today.
Yes, there have obviously been great achievements that have taken place in the last 9 years or so. Can you tell us about the most important and most significant reforms that have taken place within the Egyptian economy in the last 9 years?
I invite every citizen to look to our economic plan and our economic reform also, because many friends in the whole world are helping us in order to make this plan becoming real. And as you see, I was driving yesterday from El Alamein up to Cairo.
Yes.
You see quite sure that a big work is being done, that we shall go and to leave the narrow stream of living around the River Nile.
Yes.
We are going west up till El Alamein and Sidi Barrani. We're going east to develop Sinai. We're going to the south in order to develop our Upper Egypt. Everywhere you see new cities, and this is very good because Egypt is a very active country concerning giving birth also. We gave birth since the revolution to another 25 children, 25 million children. This is as big as a country like Greece twice. This is good, and at the same time, it's a big burden, a big challenge in order to do whatever it takes to make our children, our grandchildren, living much better than we are living.
Yes.
Many things are done. Suez Canal is something which we can be proud about. The industry is restoring its position. Agriculture, we are adding more than 1 million fedans to create possibility of more and more food for Egypt to fill the gap for food. Our relation with the Arab world is coming to a much better position. Our existence in Africa, I am proud of it. Our relations with Europe is one piece of or example of a good success for our foreign policy.
Which brings me to the next point. Since the June 30th revolution, what are the major points when it comes to foreign diplomacy and our foreign policy? How has that changed since then? And how much more seriously are other countries around the world taking us now?
As a matter of fact, Egypt, since 2,000 years before Christ, had a very active diplomacy.
Yes.
And we never fail to act like it should be acting. But we were lacking in the last 20 years before the revolution of June, what we call the presidency approach. We as ambassador were working as ambassador, maybe the ministerial level also was working, but we were lacking the presidential approach, which is very important and very effective. We have witnessed here that our president went to Tokyo to join the Group 7. Then he went the same week to Paris to see the group of 20. Then he went back to Tokyo again to see the TICAD conference between Japan and Africa. He went to the United Nations, high to the north. He went to South Africa, to many countries.
Yes.
One of them I am amazed that our president visited, which is Equatorial Guinea. I was non-resident ambassador in Equatorial Guinea. Why? Because it is impossible to find a place to live. President Sisi went, he took with him the Arab constructors, he built an embassy. Now we have a full-size embassy in Equatorial Guinea, and it's a good partner in many fields.
Yes.
Whether it is economy, trade, name it. This is one example to see how our diplomacy, and especially the presidential diplomacy, is very active nowadays.
Yes. Well, Ambassador Gamal Bayoumy, thank you so much for joining us and enlightening us about the importance of the June 30th revolution. That was Ambassador Gamal Bayoumy, the former assistant to the foreign minister. We're going to get a short break and then move on to the next segment of the show.